Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Srimad Bhagavad Gita consists of 18 chapters, which comprise chapter 25 to chapter 42 of the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. Sri Krishna, who is also acting as a friend of Arjuna, is speaking or imparting this knowledge, and Arjuna is listener. Here Bhagavan Sri Krishna is a speaker and the friend Partha is a listener. Bhagavad Gita has been adorned with such a superlative titles such as Sarvajnana Prayojika, means that which employs all knowledge, that which imparts all knowledge. And Bhagavad Gita is also called Sarva Shastra Sarabhuta, means Sarva, all, Shastra, scripture, Sarabhuta means essence of all. So Bhagavad Gita is essence of all scriptures ever we have witnessed or listened or heard about. And Tattvartha Manjari, the flower bud of imports on the absolute truth. In the name of showing individuality and liberty, impersonalist, monist and polytheist and those who endeavor to synthesize spirit and matter use terms such as Samanvaya Vad, means harmonization, or synthesis, and that shamelessly they profess everything to be equal. Such persons are forever busy demonstrating their liberal morality through concocted commentaries that endeavor to offer some speculative form of adjustment on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Other scripture and other scriptures also. So this is problem not only for Bhagavad Gita, but it's for all scriptures. They are concocting and giving their own ideas to, they are using scriptures to establish their own ideas. At present, the word Samanvaya actually is being misused and is being misinterpreted. True harmony can only be found in Bhagavan. Fabricated conceptions can never be equated with harmony. Those who pride themselves on their Western education avoid placing their faith in scriptures and investigating true knowledge through it. Rather, they resort to various types of mundane logic to satisfy their tendency for inquiry. Atheistic historians and researchers, they actually analyze scriptures using the latest research methods in order to determine its time of composition or time of origin, because they fail to accept its factual substance. They are unable to reconcile aspects of scriptures that contradict their concocted conclusions based on modern means and research methodologies. Srimad Bhagavad Gita being a part of Mahabharata, yet these so-called researchers they say that it was added at the later date, and this kind of research does not spread the glories of the eternal distinguished culture of Rishi Muni, of sages who have seen the truth, Arya Rishis. Rather, it only confirms that researchers' indifference and disregard toward them. Researchers' indifference and disregard is being shown through their conclusion. It is not a quest for immortal nectar, but in fact it is the spitting of poison in name of nectar. To understand the actual philosophical conclusions and lessons of Gita from its auspicious beginning until its final conclusion, we must first surrender to the spiritual authority or the spiritual master in the line of proper disciplic succession or Vaishnava lineage, because the pure words and teachings of transcendental and eternally perfect personalities are free from error, free from illusion, free from delusion, and so on, so on. In fact, there is only our welfare. They are only the means of our welfare. The neem, the mango, the tamarind and the bale trees on the bank of pure Bhagavati Ganga also grows bitter, sweet, sour fruits, even though they are nourished by the same water. Although being the lemon, although being the mango, although being the bale, they are being nourished by same water of Ganga. Still they produce different taste flower. A mango produce sweet, a lemon produce sour, a bale produce sweet and sour, and a neem produce bitter. So although they are nourished by the same water, they give different taste, different essence. Similarly, due to their nature, the living entities who are enchanted by Maya, the deluding material energy, preach different conceptions after studying the same scriptures, same Gita, but the conclusion might be different. The purpose of Srimad Bhagavad Gita primarily is to teach complete surrender to the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the utmost supreme absolute truth, supreme authority. Arjuna is the cause of the Gita's appearance, and he can never be bewildered, can never be in illusion. His bewilderment is an act solely to facilitate the appearance of the Gita, for he is the eternal associate and friend of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Sri Vyasadeva says, Partho Vatsaha in Gita Mahatmya from Padma Puran. From this we can understand that the milk of Gita, the nectar of Gita was not only intended for Arjuna, who is here compared to calf, but Sri Krishna but to the general mankind. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Mam ekam smaranam braja, take exclusive shelter of me. Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 shloka 66. Here the word ekam indicates that the sole intention of Gita is to help one surrender to Sri Krishna. So, the possessor of all potency. In the Gita 9th chapter 31st slok, we see that Bhagavan Sri Krishna makes his devotee Arjuna declare that his devotee never perish. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashyantihi. Name bhakta pranashyanti, my devotee never perish. The purport is that Bhagavan always protects the vow of his devotee in every way, while he can slacken his own vows simply upon hearing his devotees' prayers of distress. The example for this can be seen. The example of Bhakta Vatsalya of Bhagavan Sri Krishna can be seen in the incident of Mahabharata itself, where when Bhishmadev took the vow whether to kill Arjuna or Bhagavan Sri Krishna should take a weapon in his hand, because Bhagavan Krishna, he took vow that in whole Mahabharata war, whole battle, I will not raise a weapon. Now Bhishmadev took vow that whether Arjuna should be killed or Bhagavan Krishna should take a weapon in his hand. He should take a ayudha in his hand. And to fulfill this vow of his near and dear devotee Bhishma, what Bhagavan did, he carried that wheel in his hand and was running towards Bhishma. Therefore, out of his Bhakta Vatsalya, affection for his devotees, Bhagavan here proclaims his devotees' victory. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, sloka 9, he says, "My worth and activities are divine and full of inconceivable potency." The Vedas have emanated from Ishwara's breathing, but the words of Srimad Bhagavad Gita have emanated from the lips of that Absolute, of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. The Gita is therefore as transcendental as the Vedic literatures or as the Veda itself. In this regard, there is no scope for argument. So, the Gita, 9th chapter, 11th sloka explains, or the Bhagavan says to Arjuna, Bhagavan tells Arjuna, foolish people who are bewildered by Maya or the illusory energy of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, consider his transcendental form, consider Bhagavan Sri Krishna's that transcendental, that divine form of eternity, knowledge and bliss to be an ordinary form like a perishable human body, and thus they slight him or they slight me. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, something that is devoid of form or features is never worshipable. How can it be worshipable? Moreover, absence of features does not constitute transcendence. The form of Sri Bhagavan and his devotees or the Vaishnavas are eternal, all cognizant and blissful. They cannot be perceived by mundane sense and are completely pure and transcendental in form. They are in fact Nirguna Tattva. Now, Nirguna Tattva doesn't means formless, doesn't means without any guna, but the Nirguna Tattva means completely free from the material modes of nature. There are three modes of material nature called Triguna. So, Nirguna Tattva means beyond this Triguna. Triguna means Shataguna, mode of goodness, Rajaguna, mode of passion, and Tamaguna, mode of ignorance. And now Nirguna Tattva means free from these three modes of material nature. There are countless expositions, commentaries, translations, etc. of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in many different languages. The commentaries of Srila Sridhar Goswami Pad, Srila Ramanujacharya, Srila Madhvacharya, and commentaries of Srila Shankaracharya, Srila Nimaditya, and Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Baldeva Vidyabhushan, etc. are the most prominent commentaries and translation among all that available in market. In this introduction to his Rashika Ranjana commentary on Gita, Srila Sachinandana Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, the most compassionate Bhagavan Sri Krishna, whose words always hold true, spoke Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is an investigation into the essential import of all Veda to his friend Arjuna to deliver the entire world. These instructions to the Gita are the only means to deliver the world. The Gita is therefore the crown jewel of all Upanishad. The Upanishad, the Brahma Sutra and the Bhagavad Gita are all pure devotional scriptures, Shuddha Bhakti Shastra. Those who possess a transcendental nature will certainly take the renounced order upon hearing the Gita, or they will undergo the renounced order after studying, after reading Bhagavad Gita, just as Uddhava did. The deep import of Gita is that a person's eligibility follows in the wake of his nature. Without the proper eligibility, the conditioned soul cannot possibly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead or get that love for Him. Fruitive actions, karma, and knowledge, jnana, devotion, bhakti have different natures, and thus their identities are also different because of their nature. For this reason, after due deliberation, the Veda have been divided into three divisions, namely Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda and Bhakti Kanda. Once karma transforms into devotional service or the bhakti, once one will surpass all the desires to attain religiosity, dharma, wealth or the artha, and sense gratification, kama, and even liberation, the moksha, and instead finds joy in the devotional service of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Bhakti is the final aim of the living entity's prescribed duty and also its fruits. Bhakti is very profound principle. It is the very life of jnana and karma also, and it fulfills the purpose of jnana and karma also. That is why the discussion on bhakti has been placed in middle 6 chapters. By this we see that supremely pure bhakti is the final goal of Gita Upanishad. The verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, from 18th chapter 66th slok, established that surrender to Bhagavan is the most confidential instruction in Bhagavad Gita. So henceforward one may ask why Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra instructs his dear friend Arjuna to practice karma yoga, jnana yoga and so forth, if they are not the best and the topmost sadhana paddhati. The answer is that Bhagavan Sri Krishna also states in Gita itself that without bhakti to Sri Bhagavan, all endeavors which we do in jnana and karma and yoga etc. are fruitless and meaningless if we are thinking about attaining the highest perfection of life or the Pancham Mahapurushartha Prema. Sriman Mahaprabhu has instructed that worship in Anugatya of the Gopi of Braja means following the footstep of a Braja Gopi, Braja Sundari is the highest type of worship ever. So, in the verse Sarva Dharman Parityajam Mam Ekam Saranam Brajah, Sri Krishna, the source of all divine incarnations, has revealed and proclaimed his sovereignty over all the material energy and all the demigods and even upon all the incarnation of himself. And he has also proclaimed himself to the supreme object of worship for all living entities at large. He is the basis and shelter of the empiric philosophers' worshipful Brahma and Lord's featureless, the featureless aspect of Bhagavan Sri Krishna called Brahma, and he is actually non-dual truth, Advaya Jnana Tattva, and he is the true object, Vastava Vastu. It says in Bhagavad Srimad Bhagavad Vastava Vastu Shivadam, so that he is one and only true object that is Vastava Vastu. He is one without a second, Advaya. The first 6 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita discuss Karma Yoga, the path of spiritual advancement where the fruits of one's pious action is offered as an offering to the Lord. Whereas the last 6 chapters discuss Jnana Yoga, the path of spiritual advancement through transcendental knowledge. And the middle 6 chapters discuss Bhakti Yoga, the path which is loving devotional service to Supreme Lord Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra. From this we understand that Bhakti Mahadevi is the supreme shelter of karma and jnana also. Bhakti Mahadevi was once established as one who gives life to Jnana and Vairagya in gathering. It is from Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana that in Maya Tirtha, Haridwar, the best among the 7 holy places. It says that without the Bhakti Devi, she is mother of Jnana and Vairagya. So, from this, if Bhakti is there in the heart of any devotees or any sadhaka, any practitioner of spirituality, then Jnana and Vairagya, they comes in his heart by themselves. Without mercy of Bhakti Devi, Srimati Bhakti Devi, neither karma nor jnana nor yoga nor any other process can give the desired results of successful life. This is specifically evidenced in verse of Gita from 18th chapter, where Bhagavan himself says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. And from 8th chapter 22nd slok, where Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself says, Bhaktya lavastva ananya. So, Bhaktyam ekya grahanya, Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana says. There are many such proof in scriptures. Bhaktya तुष्यति ही केवलम, और भक्तिर एवही नाम नयति ही एसेट्रा फ्रॉम डिफरेंट श्रुति, डिफरेंट स्मृति, डिफरेंट पुराण, एंड न साधयति माम योगो, श्रीमद् भागवतम 11th canto 14th chapter it says. So in all authoritative authorized scriptures, the performance of supremely pure devotional, exclusive devotional service, which is called Vishuddha, Vishuddha or Ananya or Kevala Bhakti, Vishuddha Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, Kevala Bhakti is said to be the final instruction for the living entity. Now from the verse Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yajana Paripasate, Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter 14th slok, we understand that worship of Sri Krishna is the performance of Bhagavan is the performance of 9 kind of devotional service headed by chanting the name from chanting the name from qualities and pastimes of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra. And as it's mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, aprakrita vastu nahe prakrita gocharaha. Transcendental objects are beyond mundane knowledge and the material senses. So pride and scholarships, scholarly, to be scholarly, are defected in such an attempt. Bhagavan's mercy can only be attained by surrender to him and by offering him one's every self, by completely having surrendered to him. So many people who are intoxicated by their mundane scholarship and pride try to study and teach the meaning of scriptures by their mental concoction, or they try to perceive this real knowledge by their imperfect senses, but they only cheat themselves and they cheat to them those who are following them. Bhagavan Sri Krishna spoke the verse Tesam Shatata Yuktanam in 10th chapter for this specific reason. Tesam Shatata Yuktanam, the fundament. So the fundamental principle in regard to Bhagavad Tattva is realized through Buddhi Yoga, means pure intelligence directed towards the attainment of the Lord, which is bestowed by Sri Bhagavan Swayam. It is not we gain it, that Buddhi Yoga we established ourselves, or we attain the perfection in Buddhi Yoga by our shrama itself, but instead this attainment of the Lord through the Buddhi Yoga is also bestowed by Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra Swayam. So those who try to understand the import of scriptures while faithfully taking shelter of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra, Sri Gurudev, and the Sadhu Santa Vaishnava saintly people very easily cross over the ocean of material existence and attain transcendental devotion to the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra Swayam. Performance of such devotion is the qualification for prema, pure love of Godhead. Thus the words Sarva Guhyatama, must confidential, determine the supreme subject matter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is Prema Tattva. The fifth and ultimate goal of life and the final stage of sadhana, bhakti, sadhana, bhajan. In gist, we can conclude the Bhagavad Gita is an ancient philosophical classic directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead that offers insight about the life and love, about yoga and spirituality, soul and mind, God and eternity, hope and happiness. It has been read and respected by many of the greatest thinkers of this modern age also. It offers transformational wisdom that can help us tap our latent spiritual potency and bring out the divine spark within us for our and others' ultimate good. Hare Krishna.